how is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35, 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo.
What do you think of Crawford Canelo? There's a lot of talk about that.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him, but Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's
ways he could defy the odds because he's a generational great. But if I had to kind of put my money on it, I'd put my money on Canelo Alvarez to win via a stoppage.
Okay. All right. Well, man,
the mega fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is just 2 months out, but insiders are already sounding the alarm for Crawford. Despite all his confidence and added weight, most experts still see Canelo as the favorite, ready to give Bud a brutal welcome to the higher weight class. Hamza Shiraz didn't sugarcoat it. He's predicting a stoppage win for Canelo on September 13th in Vegas. He says weight classes exist for a reason, and Bud making that leap could break his body down.
Bigger guy, he should win by size, but for you, how does that fight play out?
I think Canelo does win by knockout. I think he does win by knockout. And that's only because of the weight. You can't jump up from 54 to 68 fighting the best, even though you're the best yourself. It's too much of a weight jump, man. But listen, you never know. You can't write off Crawford, but I think Canelo.
Crawford outthrew Madria 433 punches to 275, but only landed 11 more shots. Meanwhile, Canelo's punches were cleaner and way heavier. That's the difference. Shiraz thinks Crawford was mentally shaken. You've got to understand, Canelo, a big guy, he's got serious power, he explained. He knows how to use his size. Still, even with that, Shiraz respects Crawford's talent. He's special. Jumping to weight classes sounds wild, but Bud's so unique, he might just pull it off.
Last 1 or 2 months, obviously, in this fight is potentially even more relevant to you because of the weight class. The Canelo Crawford fight. How do you see that fight potentially going? Is that something you, in the corner of your mind, maybe like, down the road?
I see my kind of perspective on that fight is, I feel like number one, there's a weight class for reasons. And I feel like if we're basing it off their last performances.
But if I had to put money down, I'd say Canelo stops him, Shiraz admitted. Crawford's movement might help him last all 12 rounds. Just like Williams' skull did, but survival isn't the same as winning. It's going to be rough, but even if Bud doesn't win on paper, he could still earn respect. Eddie Hearn, on the other hand, isn't just doubting Bud's size, he's also questioned his resume. According to Hearn, Crawford still doesn't have that one legendary name on his record.
Canelo had the better performance, I believe, even though he had a negative fight in front of him. And I feel like Crawford struggled a little bit with Madrimov's physicality. It was very physical, and I feel like he struggled a little bit with it. And then you got to remember, Canelo's a big dude. He's a big dude. He's strong. He knows how to use his size. But then at the same time, at that level, you can't write off fighters like Crawford because he's so skillful. So him going up 2 weights, he could defy.
If you're Crawford, footwork is everything. Trading punches with Canelo, that's suicide. He'll need to move constantly, stay on that bike the whole night. Not running, but moving smart. And here's the thing, Hearn told him straight. Up on a flight, you never had the chance to build a killer resume. He joked, what's your best win? Bud answered, Ricky Burns. Hearn laughed, he loves Ricky, but said, he's no all-time great. Still, Hearn admitted Crawford might beat the greats if given the chance. And when it comes to the fight, Hearn said, I almost always pick Canelo, but if Bud wins, I won't be surprised.
But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
Canelo might still be the undisputed middleweight king, but his flat performance against Williams' skull in May has sparked doubts. Some even think he's slowing down. But his longtime trainer Eddie Reynoso isn't worried. In fact, he's convinced Canelo is going to knock Terence Crawford out. Speaking with Eli Sekbach of ES News, Reynoso didn't hold back. We're going to win by knockout, he declared. When asked which round, he kept it vague. Whatever round it happens, we're knocking him out this time. He gave Crawford respect, calling him a complete fighter, but warned, that night, you'll see a different Canelo.
Forward, to be honest with you, like when I talk to Bud, kind of like he convinces me that he's going to win the fight because he's such a believer in his own ability and he's very convinced. And then you see the presser yesterday, and I thought Canelo looked really well. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's a big lump, so I was always Canelo. Then I sort of leant towards Bud, but now I'm back with Canelo. So we'll see.
With that bold prediction, Reynoso brushed off all the noise about Canelo's weak showing against Skullware. Fans ripped his sluggish pace and low output. Even Canelo admitted it was boring, throwing just 152 punches while Skull nearly doubled him at 293. But when it comes to Crawford, Canelo promised fireworks. I hope September brings a different kind of fight. Reynoso might be brimming with confidence, but not everyone's sold. Veteran trainer Jeff Mayweather believes Bud has a real shot if he keeps it long range and avoids a toe-to-toe slugfest.
First of all, Eddie, happy birthday to your dad. Was his birthday this week? Now, big fight September. Canelo Alvarez, the face of boxing against Crawford. What's your prediction?
Los vamos a ganar por nocaut.
What round?
En el que sea, pero lo vamos a noquear esta vez.
Trainer Bozienis agrees. He says Crawford's path to victory is all about frustrating Canelo and dictating the pace. If he can do that, a massive upset is possible. Picking a winner is tough, but if this turns into the war fans expect, we're all winning. British boxing legend Carl Froch had a different view altogether. Speaking to Foot Italia on June 17th, Froch said, "That's a great fight. Crawford's bigger than people realize. Honestly, I think size matters here. He may have already outgrown his weight class. I think he'll bulk up well, feel strong, and fit right into this fight. The guy's insanely talented. He can beat anyone. I'd pick Crawford to beat Canelo."
What round did he say?
Whatever round, but they're gonna win by knockout.
Crawford's a good fighter, a great fighter, but Canelo, the best.
Es un tremendo peleador. Crawford es un gran boxeador, muy completo, pero ese día van a ver otro Canelo. He's a great fighter. Crawford's a great fighter, but that day he's facing Canelo.
That is true. Thank you, Eddie. Congratulations on the big win. Undisputed again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, all. We're here.
Froch didn't stop there. He doubled down. Canelo's past his prime. Completely, he said. He looked lifeless in that last fight. He's not motivated when guys just run. Why risk getting caught when you're already winning? Froch believes Canelo's just coasting. He's had 60-plus fights, made his millions watts. He's still doing this for... But even Froch admits this one's different. A mega fight with Crawford could be dangerous. It could all fall apart. If Canelo loses, it'll shock many, but so would a Crawford defeat. Because let's be real, Crawford's a beast. Sharp, dangerous, mentally unbreakable.
He has passed his best. He's had over 60 fights. Made a fortune. Why is he even still fighting? But this is a super fight against Crawford. Yeah. But it could go wrong for him. He could end up losing. Whoever loses, it'll be an upset because the amount of people that think Crawford's going to win. Crawford's certainly an unbelievable bad boy fighter, proper good fighter. Then you've got Canelo who just understands the game.
And then you've got Canelo, the seasoned veteran who's been in with the best. He's shared the ring with everyone, said Tony Bellew. But when it comes to Canelo versus Crawford, Bellew didn't hesitate about where he stands. Canelo loves to fight at his own pace, his rhythm, but Crawford won't allow that. He'll break the rhythm, land cleaner shots, and take the fight on points. Bellew admits Canelo being the favorite makes sense, but added, all runs end. And, if I'm wrong, if Canelo becomes the first man to beat Budil, 100% deserve the credit. No one's cracked Crawford yet.
You're in my weight division now, super middleweight. How do you think me, you, prime Carl Froch, prime Canelo?
I don't know. We need to see.
No, we don't need to see. What do you think?
Wait, we will. No, I think could be a good fight. Yeah.
12 rounds.
Yeah, 12
points.
Rounds, yeah.
Split decision.
Maybe. Yeah. We don't know.
We're
never gonna know, but
we'll never know.
We can say it will be a good fight.
Bob Arum used to laugh at the thought of Crawford beating Canelo. As Crawford's former promoter, even he once doubted Bud could take out a wrecking machine like Canelo, who steamrolled his way to super middleweight dominance. But times change. Now, I think Crawford wins a wide decision, Arum told The Ring. Maybe even a co-but more likely. It goes wide on points because Canelo will just shell up. Arum says Canelo's been declining for a while. Forget the skull fight, this goes deeper. He's still ranked top 10 pound for pound. but Crawford sits 5 spots higher.
Canelo likes to wait. It has to be all at Canelo's rate and pace. Right. He's not going to get that way with Terence Crawford. I just think Terence Crawford will outwork him, will pot shot him, and I think he'll win on points. And by the way, if I'm wrong and Canelo does defeat Terence Crawford and is the first man to beat him, he deserves so much.
Arum didn't stop there. He says Crawford's not just good, he's dangerous. He's been fighting elite competition and has weapons Canelo won't be ready for. Bud's ambidextrous, that's his secret. Arum said, Canelo might train for a righty, but Bud will switch to southpaw mid-fight and completely confuse him. And historically, Canelo struggled with slick southpaws. Just look at how he fought against Lara and Trout. Arum said this used to feel like a stretch for Bud, but now, it's a different Bud. And this version of Canelo, not the same threat he used to be.
It's only one winner. What fight would make the most?
He wipes the floor with him?
What?
Is it because of the weight difference?
Because Canelo, Canelo is used to fighting at a particular level. And and I don't think that Terence can hurt Canelo, but Canelo can hurt.
Even though the betting odds list Crawford as a slight underdog, Eddie Hearn is backing him to pull off the upset. Why? He sees Canelo aging fast and slowing down. Watching him fight Skull live, I thought this might be his last fight. Hearn admitted, he looked like he didn't even want to be there. Canelo didn't take that well, but Hearn stood by it. You weren't motivated, maybe Skull made it dull, but that performance raised red flags. What sealed it for Hearn? Crawford's unshakable mindset. The guy truly believes he's winning, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. And just lastly, Bob, I believe you talked about it in some other interviews, but I just wanted to get Canelo Crawford. What are your thoughts on that fight? Who do you think wins?
I like Crawford in that fight.
Why is that?
I think Crawford is the better talent. I think he's a better athlete and a better boxer. And I just think he's going to win that fight. But it's a terrific fight.
Did something change your mind?
Right now, anyone with real footwork is a serious problem for Canelo and Hearn. Knows it? When this fight was first announced, he saw Canelo as the easy favorite thanks to his size. But now, it's a dead-even 50-50th battle. In fact, Hearn is slightly leaning toward Crawford. Still, he says there's a matchup even bigger than this one. Crawford versus Jaron Boots Ennis. Boots is surging through the ranks, heading to 154, and eventually 160. If that fight happens, Hearn says it would be pure chaos in the best way.
Is there a big UFC event or I don't know? UFC in Vegas, yeah.
And then football.
Yeah. So, but for me, I think championship boxing should be on a Saturday night. Always.
Yeah. Eddie, June 14th, you're back at the Garden.
Yes.
Cambosis.
Great
what can
fight.
we expect on that card? What you lining up for?
So we're going to announce the card this week. There's a huge fight for Andy Cruz on the card, and he's going to be a big statement to put him into a position to fight for the world title.
During a media scrum, Hearn confirmed one thing: Boots wants Crawford. That's the fight Boots is chasing, he said. And honestly, that's just amazing to think about. Sure, Crawford versus Canelo is a massive event, but Crawford vs Boots, that's a fight fans dream about. The only problem, Hearn isn't sure it'll ever happen. Crawford's no rookie anymore. He's 37, maybe 38 soon. Win or lose, Hearn said, I think he retires after the Canelo fight. Still, in boxing, anything's possible. Who knows? He added.
On the card there as well, I'm beating 140-pounder. One of our big heavyweights as well, Alexis Barrier from Canada, Zaquin Moses, Nishant, loads and loads to Pablo as well, King of New York. Tickets are going really well. It's a great fight. By the way, Hitchens is another guy. You know, I know he doesn't have the same profile as Boots and Shakur yet, but he's another brilliant, young, undefeated American fighter. And Cambosis is bringing a lot of energy to that fight, so June 14th will be a big night.
The Hitchens is victorious out there.
When Canelo and Crawford faced off at T-Mobile Arena on Friday, it stayed cool, no punches, no shoving. But that wasn't the case at their last face-off in New York. Back then, Canelo shoved Crawford hard. Why? Canelo said it was because Bud came charging at him, and security had to jump in to cool things down. He even claimed Torki Alalshik, the man behind Riyadh season, told Crawford to stir up drama to make the second of 3 press events more explosive. Classic hype tactics.
More unification still in
I think so, yeah. I mean, obviously we'll have to see if Boots fights Teofimo. But, you know, I think he's in a great position.
Is that really getting into some serious?
Yeah.
Some Teofimo? Is that seriously in trouble?
Yeah. I think if Boots stays at 147, I think...
He tried to walk me back, and I just reacted. Canelo explained on stage. That's all it was. People know I try to respect my opponents, but then he couldn't help but throw shade. I don't even think he wanted to do it. I think Turkey told him, go cause something, and he did. Canelo clearly wasn't impressed. He always says, nobody tells me what to do, yet he listened this time. Still, Canelo added, I respect everyone. But if you cross me, that's a whole different fight.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since
everybody.
2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me. It's gonna be me.
I don't care about
Crawford wasn't having it. Clearly annoyed, he clapped back fast. Turkey didn't tell me nothing. He snapped. I didn't touch him. Then he explained what really happened. Somebody in that room was talking crazy, saying I was scared, so I stepped up. I showed him who's really running this fight. I'm not scared of anybody. Never have been.
And you will see that.
So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch.
Canelo wasn't done either. He jumped in and claimed it was Crawford's uncle who made the comment about Bud being scared. Crawford didn't flinch. I ain't scared of you and you're about to find out, he said right to phase. Then came the jab. You saw what happened at the last press conference. I walked you down, and you're supposed to be the bigger man.
I respect everybody, but if you fuck with me, so it's gonna be different.
Terence, is that true? Did Turkey Al-Sheikh ask you to spice things up?
Turkey didn't ask me to do nothing. I didn't touch him.
Oh, you know.
Listen.
Hey, we know, buddy. We know.
First and foremost, somebody was in a...
And that's a wrap. For now, if you want the sharpest takes and behind-the-scenes heat from the boxing world, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Big stories are brewing. And trust us, you don't want to miss what's next.